Hello, this is Chertsey Lover. Today, this is day 23 of my 30-day challenge, where I speak on a random topic chosen moments before starting the video. Today, we are in Milton Keynes Central. Milton Keynes, I'll be honest, I'm not a big fan of this place. I'm not too keen on it. I've been here a few times, and I just find it kind of exhausting to go through. I don't like these American block style places where it's just so long to get anywhere. Like, it's quick if you drive. I walk. So it's just really difficult to get anywhere. And you know, if you go to a wrong block by accident, oops, that's another half hour to go back. So yeah, anyway, today this topic is about the places I've lived. And hopefully this is a pretty easy topic, so I should just be able to fly through it, just explain it, not have too many pauses, and just go through. So first, I was born in Southgate in North London. In fact, actually, that's a lie. I was born in Chase Farm Hospital in Enfield. But I lived in Southgate. I grew up in Southgate. Apart from a year when my parents got divorced, I lived with my grandparents in Enfield, and then I went back to Southgate. So I lived there until I was 18. Southgate's alright. North London is very different to a lot of London. It's nowhere near as busy, and a lot of the places are much smaller. Like, Southgate is basically like a town, whereas like you go to Hounslow, Feltham, probably same as Barking, like East Side, and all like the South London parts, that they're so busy. They got all these tower buildings, and Southgate is just like a little suburb. It's like the same. Wood Green's a little suburb. Obviously, it's busier than Southgate, but a lot of them aren't. Whetstone's quiet, Barnet's quiet, Enfield's quiet in comparison to a lot of London. It's just weird. And then I got to uni, and I went to University of Warwick. So I lived there for my first year, and then my second and third year I lived in Leamington Spa. The second year I lived in the north part. Third year I lived in the south part. I actually liked living in the north part more. It was really cheap there. The house was a little bit sucky, but it was mainly just issues we had at the beginning. And I actually ended up liking the house. I liked the area. It was a bit annoying that I'd have to walk 15 minutes to get to a bus stop, because obviously, I'm gonna say I do really like the place, but I do find it a bit weird that Warwick students decide to go there. They've got a perfectly nice city that you can walk in an hour, but otherwise it's like 20-minute bus, and they decide to go and get some town that's far away just because it has clubs to live there. I don't know how it got popular in the first place. I don't know what came first, the uni students or the clubs, but it's probably one of the nicer places nearby. And they got actual Warwick Town and Stratford upon Avon that you need 2 buses to get to from the uni, so that's too much. But who knows, because if they were popular enough, they would have a uni bus. But they probably would end up taking an hour even so. But I really like Leamington Spa. It's the only town I've been to where there's parks on the high street. There's 2. There's one that's just a small one, little patch of grass, like not really small, but it's not a proper park. It's a big patch of grass. You can walk around it. There's a bandstand in the middle as well, so you might chill there. And then they got a proper park on the other side. Then you go a little bit further away, past the bandstand side. There's another park, Victoria Park. Then you go somewhere like North East Lem. You've got like some huge field, got like hills and all this. It's mad. Nowhere else I go to is as nice as Leamington Spa. Living in University Warwick, I mean, I liked it when I was the first year because everyone was around and I could drink with them. But I probably wouldn't want to do it anymore. Like, it'd probably get to me a bit too much. Especially, like, I'd probably end up just wanting to stay to myself. I don't know. Maybe it would be good being able to see lots of people that I knew. But I kind of do like having my space a bit these days. I don't know. Like, I'd need to have a lot of work on social skills. I just end up offending a lot of people. They'll come saying hi to me, and I'll probably just respond too late or be awkward, or I don't know. But I used to do awkward stuff then as well. Like, I used to never want to hurt anyone's feelings, and because a lot of people knew me. I remember, like, I'd think someone said hi to me, I'd say hi to them, and be like, "How are you?" And they're just like, "Who are you? Go away." And that made me feel really ashamed of myself. So that's kind of why these days I've kind of learned to just ignore people unless they really like want my attention. Yeah, and I guess I need to find a nice middle, and maybe I shouldn't have been stopping for people that I didn't know like that, and that was probably a bit fake of me, to be honest. And then after that I lived in Birmingham. I started because I wanted to become a teacher, and then I dropped out really quickly, and my life fell apart. And then I thought that I didn't want to live in Birmingham anymore. I thought I hated it because I found everyone awkward, and no one that I told to decided to say that, hey, you know, this is kind of just what people are like. And I also found that in Birmingham was probably better than a lot of places. Like, you compare London, Birmingham to Surrey, where there's lots of small towns. It's a lot more awkward here, where people aren't forced to interact as much, and they've got the same anxieties as normal life in cities. And you know, people go, oh, you got the community and all that stuff, but in a town of 10,000 people, if you don't know people, you're not just going to know people by going outside. You still have to make a lot of effort, so it's basically the same as in a city, really. Okay, and then at the end of the year, so because I decided in like Birmingham, I decided I need to move, so I didn't renew my contract, even though I could have. Without any evidence, they wouldn't have had to know that I'd quit my job, because I was still paying the rent and I was still getting enough money by doing temp jobs to pay my rent. So I decided I need to leave, and I decided I'm definitely going to go to Wales. I'm at least going to leave the West Midlands. And then I decided to start applying for somewhere to live, probably around July or June time, when my contract was meant to end at the end of August. And the first person I called told me, no, you're calling way too early, no one's going to accept it like this, you need to come back in August. And then I decided to do this. The first place I go to this place called Abertillery in Wales. The estate agent told me, oh, I'll probably be fine, you don't have a proper job, but hey, if you can pay the 6 months in advance, which I could, that'll be fine. So then I go and do all the agreements, they say it's okay. And then the landlord says, no, we can't trust you, because you might pay the 6 months, but you might not pay it afterwards, refuse to leave, and because of the new rules that came after COVID, that's going to be really difficult for us if you decide to not leave. And this was kind of a nightmare for me, because I'd left it really late. I'd assumed that I was definitely going to get it, and for some reason as well, no one told me that if you aren't working proper jobs, if you don't even know how much income you're making and you're not saving your pay slips, you are going to have a really hard time getting to rent, which is very annoying, because I have 3 people in my family who rent, 2 of which have a way of giving their opinions on literally everything, apart from the one time was important. Part of me does wonder if they wanted me to go homeless or screw up my life so that I'd have to go back to them and say that they were right or something. So, you know, hey, I got a good family. But anyway, but I did end up managing to find somewhere in Leominster, which is in the West Midlands and near Wales. So the universe mocked me there. It's kind of a nice town, but it's very small, and for someone who likes walking, it was quite annoying, because basically any direction you go for like 15-20 minutes, you get to 50-mile-per-hour roads with no pavement, so you're basically going to die if you want to walk far away. So, but I still managed to find ways to do walks there. I go walking in circles, because the town had lots of little alleyways, so I'd start walking in circles around the town, getting smaller and smaller until I got to my flat, which was in the like town area, basically on the high street. And yeah, it was an alright place. I had a small flat, but it had nothing there. No washing machine, no oven, no nothing. Only furniture I had was because some guy who I was going to pay a tenner to store my stuff for a day. I have out the card for him, have like the cash, and I guess I managed to make them feel sorry for me, because when they go to give my stuff back, they go, hey, you know, we actually have a bunch of furniture we're going to give to you for free. You don't have to pay us either. So that was really nice of them. So yeah, that was the only reason I had a cupboard, a bed, or a mattress, or anything. They gave me like one of those gas stoves that like you're meant to use for camping, and that's how I cooked my dinner for a few months. And then I ended up moving back with my family January, February time. I kind of realised that this life wasn't going to work for me, and I was like, well, crap, I better get a proper job, try and move into a place that's actually livable, and then we can start, you know, just don't lose my job. Because I had a job, I was working at Sainsbury's at the time, and I was doing a few viewings. It was kind of like, yeah, I'm not earning enough, they're not going to let me out of this hell yet. So I moved back with my parents. They're like, hey, look, we're going to help you be in London. London's a good place to get jobs. And I'd become so mentally, broken, that at this point that I just kind of believed them, even though I know that going for high competition places never works for me. I'm normally better at places that are smaller competition. Because it's kind of easier for me to stick out, even if there's less opportunities, less people always benefits for me. I've always learned that. if there's like 5 people but 1 position compared to like, I don't know, 5,000, or let's say 2 positions actually. 5 people for 2 positions over like, I don't know, 5,000 for 500. I don't know, man. Like I'll just always do better when there's less people, because it makes me stick out more. When the more people they are, the more they just look at the paper, and I've never been good at that. It is something I want to work on, but I've never been good at looking good on paper. I need someone to actually like see me as a person. So yeah, they convinced me to do that, and eventually I do actually manage to get a job. And I go looking around, applying for places to live, and yeah, eventually I end up moving here in Egham, in Surrey, which I have now managed to get used to, and I'm slowly bringing everything back together. And Egham is quite a nice place and all. For the first few months I really hated it, and I was like, no, come on, you've got to start liking this place. You've done this every time you live somewhere, just get over it. It doesn't matter where you live, just get over it, get your shit together, and then, I don't know, you maybe one day we'll get to buy something. And by we, I mean me and myself. Anyway, that's my story of my living situation. Was there any questions to that? It says, what's the worst place you've lived? So best was probably Leamington Spa. Worst was Leominster. Or Southgate. I don't think I'd want to live in Southgate, like, even if it wasn't for like not wanting to go back, just for like people I know. I feel like there's just something in me just feels like there's something wrong with everyone there. Maybe it's just a bit of bias, but I feel a bit weird. I'm kind of keeping my distance from North London. But yeah, I don't know. Egham's quite nice. I'm getting used to it here. There's so many places nearby here I can get to. It would be a lot easier if I was in Staines, but who cares? I make it work. I walk to Staines, so I get my steps. Oh no, I'm not saying that. So I make sure I'm walking in case I'm like getting lazy, and I just take the bus from there. You can get everywhere. Easy life. Well, anyway, thank you for watching, and have a great rest of your day.